Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online series 10 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Today we're trying out another brand new restricted Pokemon in Giratina Origin form. This is not exactly a very common restricted Pokemon, and part of the reason why not a lot of people use it is because it doesn't have the huge sweeping potential as Pokemon like Zacian, Kyogre, Xerneas, Calyrex Shadow Rider, or Groudon have. However, it's a really interesting Pokemon because it actually matches up really well into the majority of non-restricted Pokemon. For example, Rillaboom, Regieleki, Water Urshifu. And so, it's a Pokemon that can stick on the field for a very long time and is really one of the bulkiest restricted Pokemon you can try out. So, this team was built by Dragonair Jordan. We featured a bunch of their teams in the last year and a half. And yeah, I think it is just a really cool way to utilize Giratina. I actually haven't even gone up against this Pokemon in Series 10, at least not that I can remember of. And I think this team has some really interesting components to it. So, the first thing to talk about is obviously Giratina Origin form. This thing's incredibly bulky, and as you can see, it has Shadow Force, Breaking Swipe, Shadow Sneak, and Protect. So, like I said, you're not really going to get a big knockouts with this thing, and that's where the rest of the team is really designed to kind of support it and also deal large amounts of damage, right? So, part of the thing that's really cool with this team is that you have Coaching on Zapdos. That can turn Giratina even bulkier. Combine that with Intimidate from Incineroar, and you can turn Giratina basically into something that completely walls your opponent's physical Pokemon. So Coaching is going to be really valuable in letting Giratina stick around for longer, as well as enabling its damage output. And so, yeah, the key thing to note about Giratina is that, don't expect to deal large amounts of damage on it. But basically, the idea is that it will often stay on the field and just chip away turn by turn by turn with Shadow Sneaks or Breaking Swipes. Shadow Force is a really strong move, but you have to be careful about when you use it, because, of course, your opponent will know exactly what's coming their way the subsequent turn when you click it the first turn. So I think it's normally better for endgame scenarios, but very dependent on the situation that you're in. Coaching Zapdos is really cool here. Galarian Zapdos continues to be a really strong and maybe underrated Pokemon in the format. It outspeeds so many of the common support Pokemon in Urshifu, Rillaboom, Incineroar, and capitalizes off Intimidates from Incineroar. The classic Incineroar here, classic Amoonguss, it does have Rocky Helmet. That, of course, is very handy into Water Urshifu, especially considering you have Instant and Stack on the team. Pretty classic Stack Attacker, except it does have Safety Goggles and Stone Edge. So Stone Edge is really valuable in doing significantly more damage than Rock Slide. Rock Slide already has lower base power and it's spread damage, so Stone Edge gives you a huge burst in power, really ensures one-hit KOs that you might not otherwise get, and just generally valuable. A lot of Pokemon in the format are weak to Rock, like Incineroar and Volcarona, for example. Goggles is useful so that you can lead Stack Attacker and don't have to be worried about getting hit by a Spore turn 1. Also, really is handy into Xerneas, so if they lead Volk Xerneas or Amoonguss Xerneas, you can just Gyro Ball and ignore that redirection. Xerneas, of course, probably one of the toughest matchups for Giratina, so you need Stack Attacker to counter it. Finally, you've got AV Tapu Fini, which I think is pretty cool. This thing is really tanky, helps out a lot in restricted matchups, especially into Rain against Kyogre, for example, so you can Nature's Madness away, and yeah, it's just generally bulkier. I think few people expect AV as an item, and so you can leverage that towards your advantage, and then you get to run Icy Wind and Nature's Madness, where, for example, Calm Mind sets won't have either most of the time, so yeah. Dragonair Jordan wrote a pretty in-depth guide for this. I've linked the Google Doc in the description below. It also includes a flowchart of how you might generally want to approach matchups against specific restricted Pokemon, so feel free to refer to that if you are curious. So yeah, I'm excited to see how Giratina Origin performs. I played a couple of practice matches with it and definitely got some sense of how to best utilize it. I think once again, you need to mainly look for opportunities for coaching, look for opportunities to get spores off. A single spore with Amoonguss will change everything because you don't have huge amounts of damage output with this team. So the idea is slowing your opponent down and making sure that you're able to just get free damage on a turn-to-turn basis when they can't deal much to you. And for Giratina, Zapdos is also a really, really big damage dealer, so don't look at it only as a coaching user, because Brave Bird and Thundurus Kick both deal large amounts of damage, so try to position it properly. Either way, this team has a lot of switching, and it does play a little bit slower than some of the teams we've used previously, but I think this is probably the best form I've seen of Giratina, or best use of Giratina I've seen in Series 10. It is one of the only Giratina teams I've seen, but I think it naturally has a lot of good synergy and makes a lot of sense. So yeah. Thanks so much as always for watching. If you enjoyed, please show your support by leaving a like. I'd really appreciate it. And question of the day, I want to know what's one obscure Pokemon fact you know that other people may not know. I'm asking this because my Pokemon trivia knowledge is really bad, so I'm trying to learn something from you all, but I feel like my answers to this would just be knowing random obscure stuff about VGC just throughout the years, what Pokemon won a specific championship or whatnot. So yeah, but anyway, let's get started. First game of the day. Let's see what we're up against. Zacian, Thundurus now, Ego. Okay, that reminds me of a couple formats back. Incin, Amoonguss, Rilla. So Giratina into Zacian is really awkward because like Breaking Swipe doesn't do much. They don't have great damage output into Giratina actually. So Stack is actually a little bit interesting here, especially because we have Goggles. And Stone Edge, which is pretty valuable. The 4 I like the most is Incin, Amoonguss, Giratina, Zapdos. But you could honestly make a really good argument for Stack Attack in this game. It's just getting a single Spore off is really crucial. You have to bring Incin and Giratina. So then the decision is basically between Zapdos and Goggles Stack. So that Stack's actually pretty good offense here, but Zacian can coaching, which is pretty neat. Even giving Giratina a single coaching boost can be valuable. Because then like Shadow Sneak's damage output is just greatly increased, so okay. I don't know if this is absolutely the right decision, but I'm gonna try it out. I think Stack Attack could be very good here because of the Amoonguss specifically, but that's fine. If they do bring Amoonguss, things will get very interesting very quickly, I think. So let's see what they go with. Okay, Thundurus plus Zacian. If this is Defiant Thundurus, that would be wild. If it's not Defiant Thundurus, I'd expect Taunt sub turn 1. Taunt on Amoonguss, sub on Zacian. Okay. Alright, it's not Defiant. Good. I'm gonna Flare Blitz here. And switch out into Giratina. Because there's no way you get me let me get a free Spore off here. Okay, they switch out. That might be going to Amoonguss. Or, oh, okay. That's great. One thing that's really critical in a matchup against Zacian is reminding yourself that you can use Incineroar offensively and looking for opportunities to just get free Flare Blitzes off. That play was a little bit risky. I actually guess I could have gone Fake Out plus Spore into Thundurus, but I didn't want them to switch Thundurus out into Zacian and get a free sub up. Yeah, so there's Taunt. Perfect. Okay, that's a very good turn 1 for us because we get a lot of damage with Flare Blitz here. And then now you can't Fake Out Giratina either, which is fantastic. That's so much damage. Wow. Okay, great. Heal a little bit back from Grassy Terrain, which is also really good. And now the thing is that this Incineroar is just so nice offensively still, right? I pressure with the Flare Blitz. Honestly think Shadow Sneak should just KO the Incin here. Or the Rilla. I almost want to switch into Zapdos, but I do risk them Thunderbolting here. So I don't mind just going for Flare Blitz onto Thundurus, because if you switch in Incin, you're in a very passive position. Okay, I'm down to just Breaking Swipe and Flare Blitz here. Rilla switches back out. Okay, so they didn't even bring Incin. We get confirmation of all their 4. T-Wave's annoying, but it's okay. The main thing to watch out for is just that Meteor Beam from the Now You Go. Okay, we get Flare Blitz off, which is good. Yeah, Now You Go is actually a bigger threat than I gave it credit for. We actually get a burn on Thundurus, which is really nice. They're not Citrus Berry. That's interesting. That is so much damage. Oh, that was a crit on Now You Go. I was going to say. That is a remarkable amount of damage. Obviously, they're going to fish for the Meteor Beam right now. Oh, it's Lefty's Thundurus. Okay. T-Wave Taunt, T-Bolt, Eerie Impulse. That's my guess on the moveset. I don't think Shadow Sneak KOs. There's no way. But I don't think Meteor Beam KOs Giratina either. We should conserve Incineroar. Zapdos is actually probably the most disposable member right now. So I'm going to switch Incin out into Zapdos. And go for a Shadow Sneak onto Now You Go. Because there's a good chance they Meteor Beam the Incineroar slot expecting Giratina to protect this turn. I guess they could Meteor Beam T-Bolt into Giratina here. Oh, Rain Dance. Oh, that does drastically reduce the damage output of Flare Blitz. Okay, that's really cool. That is really cool. So here's Shadow Sneak. Fortunately, no flinches or paralysis so far, which is nice. And it's actually just Power Gem. Okay, perfect. Into the instant slot. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, that is excellent. Exactly what we wanted to see. And now they're in Shadow Sneak KO range. I didn't Breaking Swipe there, by the way, because I didn't want to knock out the Thundurus and give them a free switch in. Honestly, this is a good position to go for coaching onto Giratina. You would think now Nihilego protects here, but I don't care if this thing Thunderbolts Giratina, and with them not having instant, coaching becomes infinitely stronger. So now Nihilego protects, but that's fine. Let's see what they go for. Alright, they're just going for T-Wave. That's okay. Giratina is going to be a beast if we get this coaching off. And we have Lumberry on Zapdos. Okay, would have preferred a full pair at that turn. Alright, coaching number 1 comes out from Zapdos. Sick. Even a single coaching makes such a big difference, so I'm happy about that. Rain Dance, T-Wave, Taunt. Surely it's Thunderbolt as 4 on Thundurus, right? They're gonna T-Wave again, probably. Which I don't really mind. I'll just go for the knockout onto it now. Brave Bird. Sneak again. I'm just nervous about full paras at any point in this game. Like, that's what we're playing around, and we don't have a definitive way to play around that other than KOing Thundurus earlier on in the game, which I didn't really accomplish. But Zapdos isn't that important other than getting a single coaching off here. Nice. Giratina's been so clutch. We avoid every single para, which is really, really lucky, honestly. So we get the knockout onto Nihilego. If we don't get parried here, it's a knockout onto Thundurus as well. Okay, we get fully parried there. It's okay. With that many turns of paralysis, like, you're bound to get parried, right? But the key thing here is I don't see how they really deal damage to Giratina right now. Even if you're play rough on the Zacian, like, Zapdos pivoting out into Instant here is pretty good. And if you're close combat, then you're going to struggle even more. Zacian finally comes out, but that's fine. Yeah, we're just going to go out into Instant right now and sneak into Thundurus. Because once Thundurus is out of the way, that paves the way for Amoonguss. Now, the scary thing here is if it's Swords Dance Zacian, but if it is Swords Dance, that means you're probably not going to be Substitute, meaning it'll be a lot easier to get a Spore off against it. Okay, they're going to go for Taunt. We don't get parried once again, so Giratina gets its second knockout. Fantastic. If they're sub over Swords Dance here, we should just win the game, but I suspect they're Swords Dance. Yeah. Okay. That definitely makes it scarier to play. So you are at +2 right now. Most Swords Dance sets do run play rough. Rillaboom comes out now. The thing with Rillaboom is you can't click Fake Out into Giratina, so Giratina can pick up yet another knockout with Shadow Sneak onto the Rillaboom slot. So Instant out into Zapdos here, and sneak into Rillaboom is what I want, but I'm just nervous because we've avoided so many full paras on Giratina. I feel like we're bound for one here. But it'd be amazing if we could pick up 3 KOs in a row. Yep, they go for Fake Out, that's fine. Zapdos has done its job in this game. You're so clutch today, Giratina. Thank you. Thank you for coming through. Oh my goodness. Okay, so it's a 4v1 now, but it's still definitely winnable for the Zacian. They go for Sacred Sword. Perfect. So this is fantastic because now I get the free switch in back into Incineroar. And Rain has expired as well. If we weren't paired, like, Shadow Force would be so strong here. This turn is interesting. I wonder if you're my opponent, you, like, read into me hard switching the Instant out into Amoonguss. I'm going to switch out anyway here. even if they read into it, I think we're still in a fine shape, because then Instant just comes back in for another Intimidate. I would just protect Zacian here, because you obviously don't want to take a free Fake Out Shadow Sneak, but they might be like, okay, I'm already behind in this game. I need to go for a big play. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. With that, that should be game over. Well, not necessarily yet. We can still get fully parried. But now I think what we do is actually just Spore into Zacian. 3 turns of terrain. You're at +1. Yeah, like we can just Spore into Zacian and then pivot Giratina out into Incineroar. It does feel a little bit awkward to give up my boost like that. But the thing was with Giratina, I'm rolling the dice a little bit every time I click Shadow Sneak. Because I'm paralyzed, right? Whereas Instant here brings Zacian down to neutral, so Behemoth Blade, even with the crit, I don't think KOs Amoonguss, meaning we get Spore off. They actually go for Swords Dance, which I think is a good play. But yeah, this whole game I was just aiming for Amoonguss to get in safely. So, beautiful. And now with Grassy Terrain up, Grass Knot actually does a sizable amount of damage. One thing to note is that Amoonguss into the Zacian matchup is actually really good damage with Rocky Helmet as well, because they take, you know, 6th every turn they attack. So we can just Flare Blitz and Grass Knot here. And I think that should just be a KO. Yeah. Wow, Giratina was amazing in this game, but we did get lucky avoiding full paras. Like, it got like 5 attacks off in a row, basically. And so, like, obviously the odds of you not getting parried a single time over the course of that many turns isn't amazing. So I could have mitigated that by trying to knock out Thundurus ASAP, but to be honest, we don't have an easy way to knock out Thundurus. So, yeah. It's pretty hard to deny the Thunder Wave onto Thundurus turn 1. Sorry, onto Giratina. But what an amazing start for Giratina. And it like really, with that coaching boost, right, it was able to just put in so much damage output. And the key thing here was that we built up such a large lead that even though Zacian got a Swords Dance off, it didn't really matter because it was a 4v1 at that point. Even if the Rillaboom were fully healthy, I think that would have looked very, very different. But yeah, that was super, super fun. So what a way to get started. All right, next game of the day. I had 2 games that I played after that first one, but unfortunately the recording messed up. So yeah, gotta record a couple more. So hopefully this one keeps through. But we're up against Kyogre. Okay. Kyogre, we typically want to go Amoonguss, Amoonguss, Giratina, Feeny, Zapdos. This team is so hyper offensive from their end, though. It's really scary. They also have a Regidrago, which is really bad for Giratina to go up against. This feels like a Series 9-7 team. I honestly might have to go the Trick Room route. Feeny Amoonguss is normally the recommended lead against Trick Room. Or sorry, not against Trick Room, into Kyogre. It seems a little bit counterintuitive because Feeny sets up the terrain, but it's honestly okay in this position because Amoonguss is valuable just for like Grass Knotting. And they have Indeedee for terrain as well. You know what? Maybe I'll go with Giratina, just so that I have the potential to Spore as a lead. I could go the Trick Room with Stack Attacka, but like without Wide Guard, I just don't feel super safe in front of that Kyogre. Giratina's like weird in this one because like the attack drops really don't matter, and they're primarily special, which means like, I mean, we just take a lot from that. They go Torn plus Indeedee. Okay. I'd actually say this is pretty good. Yeah, because what we can do is just pivot Amoonguss out into Feeny. That changes the terrain. AV Feeny is super good against both of these. And just breaking Swipe and start getting chip damage across the board. Psychic Seed is fine. Yep. Feeny's a really good switch in here. And now to just slowly chip away at breaking Swipe. I would think you have Drago in the back and Kyogre as your back two. That makes the most sense to me. And I'm okay with that, because then that means you don't have anything that really deals with Giratina super well, other than Drago. But Feeny can deal with both, really all 4 of my opponent's Pokemon if that's what they have. So there's a taunt, that's fine. Could be like Mystical Fire coming out. We'll get a Breaking Swipe to start. Setting a Misty Terrain is a little bit counterintuitive when you have Breaking Swipe. What is it even imprisoning here? Trick Room? Okay. Works for me. I'm down to just Nature's Madness Indeedee here and Breaking Swipe. Neither of my opponent's Pokemon put on any offensive pressure right now. Indeedee protects, that's fine. Torn, maybe Tailwinds? Just go for Blind Hurricane. Okay. That's a crit, right? Not even? Wow, that's actually really impressive damage then. I am pretty surprised about that. Into AV Feeny. Huh, okay. Wasn't expecting that, but that's fine. I can sneak to knock out Tornadus now. Tornadus probably Tailwinds. I'm down to just Nature's Madness Indeedee. And Breaking Swipe again, honestly. Okay, Indeedee protects. It's fine. You should Tailwind here, right? You just go for Blind Hurricane again. This time on a Giratina. What is the item on that? How is it doing that much damage? Is it like a flying type boosting item? The lack of Tailwind is also really surprising, so I could have just gone for Shadow Sneak. This has definitely been a weird one. Shake off Taunt doesn't really matter. I just can't believe how much Hurricane is doing considering that we're careful on Giratina and plus special defense on Feeny. Kyogre comes in. Okay. Indeedee's revealed Protect, Imprison, probably Expanding Force Trick Room is my guess. Down to Icy Wind here and Protect with Giratina. Oh, wait, I can't Protect. Okay. Shadow Force then? They go for Water Spell, that's okay. And Expanding Force. Giratina should survive that. Yeah. I still don't know the item on Kyogre, but you can protect him from a Shadow Force, so that's good. I drop both of your speeds as well. And Indeedee Male obviously can't go for Follow Me. It has to be Trick Room is number 4. That's their Trick Room answer. Okay, and I will Moonblast Kyogre here. Yeah, I mean, I regret not Shadow Sneaking Tornadus because, like, what was the intention there? To punish a switch out? Kyogre goes into Comfey. Okay, so they didn't bring Drago. That's interesting. Indeedee protects, that's fine. I mean, I honestly feel like we're in really good shape going into this endgame. We get a lot of damage off here into Comfey. It's a sick animation, by the way. Wow. I wonder what the item on Comfey is. It's not Citrus. We don't get a knockout there. Special attack drop's nice. Not sure. Like, now it means maybe Draining Kisses and KO. I want to just Muddy Water here. Actually, Draining Kiss should still KO, but that's fine. I feel like Muddy Water and Protect... Oh, I still can't Protect, right? Muddy... Nope. I would Draining Kiss if I were them. I'll go into Amoonguss. Even if they Expanding Force the Amoonguss, it's fine. Feeny's just in such a good spot right now. And I can just switch Amoonguss out later on in the game and heal back with Regenerator. Yeah, so there's Draining Kiss. Okay, Amoonguss really the perfect switching to have there. I wonder if Giratina could have survived that. Probably not. Yeah, they actually feint for Rocky too, which is cool. I wonder if going into Zapdos was the right decision there instead. Either way, we get a nice Muddy there. And an accuracy drop. That's sweet. And they miss Expanding Force. But they targeted Feeny there, so yeah, I don't think that makes that much of a difference then. Okay, that's obviously good for us. We're still in prison, so we still can't protect. I've got Zapdos in the back, so I'm down to just Icy Wind here and Spore into Kyogre. Especially because I think it's Scarf out Ogre here. Okay, so they're going to Ice Beam. I think we take Ice Beam into Expanding Force. No freeze, good. And if you are Scarf Ogre, then this should be a wrap. I don't think Muddy Water was KOing Indeedee there anyway. And I think we survive Expanding Force. Let's see. Oh, we don't? Okay. That's not good. I mean, honestly, it's still fine, but I really was expecting to survive that. That was just a bad assumption, I guess. I'm gonna Icy Wind Detect here. Bait out a Protect from either Pokemon. I just don't, like, I don't think you can deal with Feeding right now. Yeah, they just Ice Beam again. Okay, good. And that should confirm Choice Scarf, too. Perfect. And if you're locked into Ice Beam, that means your way to deal with Feeding is really bad right now. You have, yeah, no great Feeding answers. Yeah, perfect. Double up in the Zapdos. Okay, no problem. Rain stops. I don't think Ice Beam even KO Zapdos. Here I'm down to just Nature's Zapdos, Nature's Madness to Kyogre. Thundurus kick the Indeedee. Indeedee probably protects here. That's fine. It doesn't. Okay, great. Wow, this is definitely a weird one. I mean, in the end, you could see, like, Giratina just chipped away at everything. They didn't have that much offense. Like, they went 3 support mons with Tornadus, Indeedee, and the Comfey, which I was definitely surprised by. They get a freeze on Zapdos, but that's fine. I think the game should still be over. Oh, also, I forgot about the Lum. Yeah. Nice job. Alright, Nature's Madness hits, and now we're just a Brave Bird away. One thing to note is that Zapdos is so important typically in the rain matchups. My opponent's team here, it wasn't as critical, but in your classic rain matchups with Pokemon like Serena, Rillaboom, Incin, Urshifu, Zapdos is very, very important. So, yeah. That one was weird. Like, Giratina didn't really do... I mean, it was able to chip away for a lot. AV Feeny was honestly the MVP of that one. And, yeah. Like, the nice thing about Giratina is that it just walls Kyogre pretty well, forcing it to use Ice Beam. And when Kyogre's using Ice Beam, it means that your partners aren't really threatened by huge damage from it, which is really good. So, yeah. Third game of the day, and it's against A-Ninetales Sandslash. Eternatus. Urshifu Rillaboom. Wow. Okay, that's a really cool team. Honestly, maybe want to use Stack Attacker here. The dual Ice is honestly really bad, obviously, for Giratina and Zapdos. I don't know the Urshifu form, though, and that's part of the issue. Man, I want to bring all of our Pokemon here. It's always both such a good and bad problem to have. Yeah, I mean, Giratina does get dunked on by Eternatus pretty hard. I feel like Stack should be our primary means of offense. If I want to go Trick Room, I could just go Stack Attack Amoonguss, Giratina. I want to bring Zapdos so badly. I guess Incin also works. Okay, I feel like I need to play around Stack Attack in this game, but I don't know. A-Ninetales Sandslash, not a common duo. Haven't seen it ever in Series 10, but it's actually surprisingly good against us here. That's really cool. Okay, let's see what they're having. What they have. Yeah, this is a weird matchup for Giratina because they have a Eternatus in itself already a tough matchup because Dynamax Cannon does way more than we do in return. It goes Sandslash plus Ninetales. Okay. I mean, I guess that works for me. Like, I think I want to just go Amoonguss into Instant Trick Room turn 1 because with the Intimidate, Stack should take any damage from Sandslash, even if it's a like high horsepower or whatever ground type attack it wants to use. Okay, I'm down for it. The only scary thing here is if they're, I don't know, like Choice Banded or Life Orb, but then like Blizzard plus High Horsepower is enough to KO stack. Surely they have a ground type attacker. Yeah. A little frustrating because then I could have just let Incin stack over Amoonguss. They go for Triple Axle though. Okay, that's amazing. Incin just straight up dodges it. Wow, okay. And they go for Aurora Veil, but that's a very good turn 1 for us. Okay, now we get Trick Room. So it's time for Stack Attacker to put in some work. Ideally, we just stack up defense boost with this stack. Now, one thing, it's too early to consider this right now, but one really interesting thing we can do is actually self-body press to KO ourselves and get beast boosts that way. They have no switch in with body press other than Eternatus. I'm down to Gyro Ball Ninetales here and fake out this turn. Since like Sandslash is really the main offensive threat. Sandslash probably switches here. Yeah, but that's still okay. Into Incin. Okay, into Rillaboom. They just brought 3 fire type weaks into this matchup, so that's good. Let's see if Ninetales protects here. Okay, good play. But the thing is now, I can just Flare Blitz Gyro Ball away. Like, Ninetales doesn't put on any pressure right now. It's great damage from Fake Out, it's a crit. Now I would think you pivot Ninetales out into Eternatus. Fake out Stack Attacka. Got Giratina in the back, which walls Rillaboom completely. Stone Edge is honestly pretty sweet here. I'm down to Stone Edge. We should probably just Gyro Ball to play it safer, honestly. I'll Gyro Ball Ninetales and Flare Blitz Rillaboom. Alright, they stay in with Ninetales. That's interesting. Works for me. I feel like Trick Room is just super strong against them right now in general, so that's a good start. That's a crit again? I'm not sure I necessarily want that because Rillaboom, it gives them a free switch in. Oh, actually, they don't really have a good switch in here, so it's probably advantageous for us. If we get frozen, we can sell Flare Blitz to thaw out, I think, right? Either way, lucky turn for us there. Okay. I just, like, my opponent doesn't have a Trick Room plan at all, it feels like. Now, Giratina's still in a really weird spot. And I honestly would have preferred for Rillaboom to survive because then we could have just gone for a... body press to get a defense boost and stack boosts on this thing, which is part of what I was going for, you know, earlier on. Ninetales probably protects here. I'm down to reading till to protect here. Even if they don't go for it, it's fine. I probably could split my damage and like Flare Blitz there. Double protect makes the most sense here, but let's see. Nice, they don't even double. Okay, sweet. Big Gyro Ball. Is that another? What is this game? 3 crits in 3 turns, man. I feel like I just used all the luck I could ever ask for in a match, a random ladder match. I'll take it, I guess, but like... it's actually the perfect opportunity for Amoonguss to switch in. Yeah, like, I don't think any of those crits really make a difference in the long run here. They just have no Trick Room matchup right now, especially because they didn't bring Rillaboom as a Spore switch in. Okay, they Meteor Beam, but that's fine. Even if you crit Amoonguss, I think we might even survive. The key thing here is now I get a Spore off into the Ninetales slot safely. They just have no damage in a stack attack. Like, the 4 they brought has nothing for it. This is why I was saying stack would be the most important carry relative in this matchup. Okay. I mean, definitely lucky couple of crits, but yeah, I feel like they just don't have any way to deal with Trick Room, and they didn't like lead Fake Out to try to deny it either. That was the idea of the Amoonguss lead, by the way. If you lead Fake Out, like, your other Pokemon probably can't one-shot Amoonguss. You have to pick either the 9 Trick Room or getting put to sleep. You can't deny both. Unless it's 9 Sandslash plus Fake Out and Sandslash one-shots Amoonguss. Maybe. But then I'd probably just switch into Incin. Here I'm down to just... I should cover for double protect. Gyro Ball, Ninetales. I mean, Eternatus isn't even KOing us. I'm fine to double into Ninetales here. They're probably sashed. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Maybe could have grass out of there, but now I denied them a switch in. Another key thing to note is that Hail is going to expire. No, but they can reset it now. Okay, they just go for a neutral flamethrower onto Amoonguss. It's not enough for KO, but we will faint from Hail, but that's perfect because now I just get Incin and just click Fake Out Trick Room. Oh, actually, we don't faint from Hail because it expires. Okay, works for me. I feel like this was legitimately stack attack of 4v1ing in this matchup, but Incin obviously played a big role too. I think they probably just honed in very hard on me leading Giratina, and me not leading it set them back a significant amount. Yeah, so I'll just Trick Room here and then pivot out into Incin. We still want to bring Giratina in this matchup, mainly because it's just bulky, and after an Intimidate, like Sandslash isn't KOing us, and we can still do pretty good damage with Phantom Force and Shadow Sneak. But yeah. Cool, at least they stay for another turn. Their one out there was one turn Wake into Blizzard Freeze, I think. But even then, I think you just don't have enough damage output in the... Well, actually, you have damage, you just don't have enough time. Pretty good damage output from Dynamax Cannon there, though. Now with Trick Room setup, once again, we can just safely body press Flare Blitz, and you can't switch in Sandslash at all. Cool. Well, I guess actually body press maybe isn't a KO on a turn so we can just Gyro Ball. Sandslash honestly does not take Gyro Ball super well with the Aurora Veil expired at this point. Yep. So, they can prolong the inevitable, but with another Trick Room going up and them having such bad anti-Trick Room, there's not really much they can do. I wonder if they were Water Urshifu. The reason I let Amoonguss was specifically to cover for that. I was nervous about Instant Stack into Water Urshifu, but I suppose we'd have Amoonguss as a switch in, so it wouldn't even be that bad. Anyway, now it's just a double KO. It's been a wide mix of games for Giratina. I mean, if anything, though, I'm pretty happy to feature like the wide variety of matches. Game 1, Giratina single-handedly carries us, it feels like. Game 2 is useful, but... And also, like, Giratina, yeah, I'm still confused by the Imprism on turn 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just thought Giratina had Trick Room. I don't think it even gets that in its move pool, right? I'm double-checking right now. At least not what I'm aware of. Now we can just body press and blitz. Yeah. Okay. This should just one-shot, I would think. Nice. I'm wondering what the item on Sandslash was. Life Orb is my guess if your Sash is on Ninetales, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, cool to see Sandslash Ninetales. The problem with that duo is they're just both so frail and so weak into Incineroar, which is the most common Pokemon in the format. So even though it threatened our Giratina, we had plenty of answers around it. So yeah, pretty quick 3 games though, so I'll play one last one. All right, final one of the day, and it's Yveltal. Oh boy. That can't be a good matchup for Giratina, especially with Foul Play and Snarl. Huh. Feeney's going to be huge here. Stack is going to be important. They have Cinderace. Single Spore with the Amoonguss feels really big here, especially because their team is relatively passive. Thinking Amoonguss stack Feeny Giratina. Instant doesn't make that much sense. Well, it's not terrible, but... Man, I was hoping for a 4th game it'd be a slightly quicker one, but this might be like a 15-minute game, honestly. We'll see. Because, like, Yveltal's so bulky, Grimmsnarl is likely to set up screens. Honestly, I think Stack is the Pokemon we're going to play around. Giratina just doesn't offer us that much here. They go Evil Grim. Alright, I'm pretty happy about this, actually. Oblivion Wing shouldn't one-shot Amoonguss here. So I think turn 1 we can just Trick Room Spore. And I'm honestly going to Spore into this, because I think I could see Yveltal switching out into Rilla. You know what I didn't respect with this play, though, is Fake Tears plus Oblivion Wing, if they're actually running Fake Tears. That'd be a really risky play, but it would pay off heavily for them here. Oh, gosh. I probably should have played a little bit safer and protected Amoonguss turn 1. If I go to Oblivion Wing, it's fine, because then I get Trick Room up, and then I can just Spore or switch Amoonguss out the next turn, and then Gyro Ball Grim. I think the idea here is the same, get a bunch of defense boosts with Stack. Best case is them switching Yveltal into... Okay, they just go for Fake Out. Into Stack, okay. I mean, we should survive O-Wing here, right? Unless your Life Orb respects. Okay, good. They are Life Orb, but we still survive. That is clutch from the Amoonguss. Well done. Okay. This is great. Now I can pivot you out into Tapu Fini. Think we just Trick Room here? Yeah, I'm down to Trick Room. With Trick Room, then I can just start Nature's Madnessing, and the fact that it's not AB, Yveltal, and Life Orb is actually good to see. The main thing to watch out for is it getting a huge chunk of recovery off an Oblivion Wing, specifically onto Amoonguss. How do we use Giratina? And Giratina stinks against both of these. I feel like we just need it as a bulky endgame mon. They switch that out into Cinderace. Alright. That's great for us. I could have just Spored with Amoonguss onto Yveltal though, right? No. I didn't set up Trick Room yet. I need to get Trick Room up first. What are they going for? You would think another Oblivion Wing. Yeah. I feel like we're in fantastic shape right now. This Yveltal's just doing no damage into either of my Pokemon. I've got Nature's Madness and Gyro Ball. Cinderace doesn't carry Protect that frequently, so I honestly want to just like Muddy Water and Body Press that slot. I'm just afraid of missing Muddy Water. Pretty sure Muddy Gyro should pick up a KO into this. And I could see Cinderace switching back out into Grim, so I'm down to Gyro here. It's just nerve-wracking if we miss Muddy and then they high jump kick Stack. Given our luck with Fini Muddy Waters lately... Okay, protect Yveltal, perfect. Are you protecting Cinderace as well? Okay, they do have Protect. But that means I can Body Press with even more confidence into it next turn. Or just Gyro Ball it. Either is fine. Okay. I honestly want to double bot Yveltal here, but once they're switching into a Gyro Ball, it's mainly a Suicune. I'm down to Moonblast and Gyro the Cinderace here. Even if they did bring Suicune, they switched in, it's not even that bad, because, like, yeah, they switch out. This Yveltal is just walled, and they bring Grim out perfect. So, you give me a free potential... Oh, it's Pumpiri, wow. Well, good thing I Moonblasted there. Is that a crit? Oh my gosh. That, I was not expecting that. Okay. Wow. What? That's wild. Great Moonblast damage there, too. And you just Dark Pulse. Yeah, that's fine. Yun to stack, sure. Oh, that is a lot, but Sucker Punch shouldn't KO us, which is the key thing. So Dark Pulse ability being Protect on a 4th. I would think Sucker Punch for Calyrex Shadow Rider. Okay, Aleki is their 4th. Yeah, their Trick Room matchup wasn't that good. 2 turns of Trick Room left for us, too, which is good for us. Oh, I have a defense boost on you now. Sash... yeah, Sash Aleki is what we have to cover for right now. We're AV on Feeny, so I think I'm down to just Moonblast Yveltal and Body Press into Aleki because you can KO both Pokemon with an Electro Web right now. So Yveltal protecting is obvious. If they double protect, I feel like there's really no comeback potential. Alright, I just said they have no comeback potential, so now I actually have to demonstrate that. I could see them switching Yveltal out here. I'm down to Muddy Water to cover for that switch, while also KOing Sash Aleki. And if Yveltal stays in, Muddy might just KO. They go for a double with... Oh, is it... Are they going for a double protect? Oh my god, they get both! I just needed one there. The 1/9 chance of getting both protects. That's gonna be an oof from me. Okay. Wow. That's a bummer. I think it's still okay because we have a fully healthy Giratina. You can knock out both Pokemon in this position, so honestly, I'm down to just Moonblast here and Trick Room again. I could have switched Stack into Amoonguss as well, but I honestly want to conserve Amoonguss. With AV, I think we should survive. Nice. Yeah, okay, it's still fine, I think. Wow. Double protect, though. I mean, once that is their only way to win this game. So, like, my opponent found their out, right? So I can't be upset at them for it. Especially, like, I mean, the last game, we've seen crazier things happen. In the last game, we got 3 crits in a row. Although, yeah, I think those were more impactful than where the current game state is in, but... Okay. Around Giratina, I have Phantom Force on this, as well as Breaking Swipe. Man, how much does Shadow Sneak do to this? I think I give up Feeny here. I also can't. Yeah, I think I Breaking Swipe here. I can't go for a Ghost type attack into Cinderace in case it. Or at least I can't Phantom Force because then I can protect on it. They just go for Electro Web. Alright, it comes down to what your Cinderace moveset is. We've seen Protect. I'm sure you're running Pyro Ball. What are your other two? I do expect a Dark type attack because there's an Yveltal on the team. Gunk Shot. Alright, that's fine with me. It looks like they have no damage in a Giratina right now. Although that's actually decent damage. Is it Poison? That's a crit. Ugh, gosh. Great damage from Breaking, though. Okay. With the Amoonguss. I feel like I can just Rage Powder and Breaking Swipe here. Like, part of Giratina's advantage is how much it walls the Regieleki right now. Alright, they just T-Bolt. Perfect. That should be game. Because Breaking Swipe into Shadow Sneak should KO Cinderace. Yeah. Oh, then they're placed... Oh, we actually dodged there. Yeah, they didn't have an out here, though. Even if you KO that, Cinderace can't win that 1v1 against Giratina. Even if you protect first. Then I guess you're hoping for a crit, maybe, at best. Might as well just Rage Powder here. To avoid potentially getting crit by a Sucker Punch or something wild. Wow. I knew this team would be strong, but I really didn't think I'd go 4-0. It was a really interesting mix of games with the Giratina as well, because like it was actually really good in this end game. I didn't realize just how strong it would be. That's why I wanted to prioritize knocking out Yveltal after the early game, but I feel like the last 2 games our opponent just had like no Trickermancers, and so we were able to like use that towards our advantage. But yeah, what a fun set of games, honestly, and really cool to be able to utilize Giratina at a high level. Wasn't really expecting that, but here we are. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. Thanks to Dragonair Jordan for the team. Thanks to you all as always for watching. Leave a like if you enjoy, and I'll see you all soon. All right, peace.